Well, hello there. How is everyone? I hope you're all well on this fantabulous, super stupendous Sunday. And what are we talking about this morning? You're looking absolutely amazing, by the way. And we're talking about Jack O Sullivan. Now, we spoke about Jack O Sullivan a few days back because his family had kind of kicked off because the police didn't seem to be doing anything. They had raised the fact that there had been dogs brought to a scene. The dogs had shown an area of interest, and seemingly the police didn't seem that willing to investigate. You know, they'd said that Jack would continue to be of a priority to them, but their actions weren't showing that. And this went into mainstream media. And off the back end of that, it seems that perhaps that mainstream media reporting did actually lead to the Popo doing more for Jack O Sullivan's family, as this is the latest news in the Jack O Sullivan case. So it says, new area of interest is being investigated in search for missing Jack O Sullivan. Volunteer specialist dog search sparked a new search area after showing an interest in a new location. I don't know who's been following this case, but Jack has been, missing for a few months. He attended a party. He would seemingly, it would be suggested that he potentially got into an altercation because he was drunk at the party. He had fallen down some stairs, he'd hit his head. He'd been kind of taken a piss out of, which resulted in a bit of pushing and shoving, but then apparently that was de-escalated. The downside is, was it de-escalated? Who is saying that it's de-escalated? Is going to be people who were there at the party. And again, we see the same situation in any of these cases, don't we? Where there is an issue where someone goes missing or someone dies, and it seemingly happens around a party. And we saw the same in the Kylie Rodney case. We've seen the same with the Jay Slater situation, Riley Strain, for instance. All of these cases where someone seemingly starts their evening with friends and it descends into a tragedy, and then all you've got to go on is what is said about the tragedy. Same with the Idaho 4 case even. It would be suggested that there was potentially a fight earlier on in the evening at the frat house, and it would descend into what would later be the Idaho 4 case, in which 4 people tragically lost their lives. And, it's case after case after case. We see this same repetition of issues. But look, it is what it is. Police are investigating a new search area, a new area of interest, after meeting with Jack's family. It was revealed that a volunteer specialist search dog had shown an interest in a spot outside the established search area, which police are now investigating. When detectives met with Jack's family on Monday, September 9th, at their home to discuss the investigation, as well as any areas of concern or questions the family had, Jack's family explained the volunteer search had been carried out on an area of the A370. Jack's family sent the report of the search on Monday evening following the meeting, and officers started investigating the area on Monday, September 16th. These resources needed to be redeployed due to an emergency missing person investigation in Yeovil, for which people have since been charged for murder. The searches did resume on Tuesday, September 25th, and will be completed as soon as possible. An Avon and Somerset police spokesperson said the searches did resume on Tuesday, September the 25th, and we'll be completing them as soon as we can. We'll be keeping Jack's family updated on any outcome. We are sorry for any distress caused by this unavoidable delay. So again, it's a little bit of going back into why, the search had to stop. And we said this the other day. Obviously, the police do only have a limited amount of resources. So there are going to be situations when they can't do what the family wants. At the end of the day, the police are going to care, and they are going to want the full attention of law enforcement. That isn't always going to be possible, but we do want and expect the police to do as much as they possibly can in these situations, especially when time is of the essence. If there is Well, we don't know what happened to Jack. Now, a lot of people are going to feel that the fact that he was in, he seemingly was drunk. Could it have been a similar situation to what we saw in the Riley strain? There is a river close by, and a river that is notorious for being fast flowing. He could have fallen into that river and be carried away. But look, at the end of the day, we don't truly know what has happened. There isn't yet a conclusion, and there are still questions to be asked. And we can see why the family are getting frustrated. And it's a pity that it would seem that the Jack O Sullivan case was drowned out by the viral sensation that was the Jay Slater case. And look, I know, and before we go, I have to conclude this by saying, look, the Jay Slater case, and many people are upset about the way that I have concluded in the Jay Slater situation. And I have to say, look, this channel here, Harsh Reality, is about looking at all of the information that's out there, all of the stories that have been pushed out there, and us together as a community going over them, looking to see whether they're credible, whether they're not credible. And then when we get to the end of that, we have a decision to make, and that is, do we conclude on what we've seen and what has happened over the months, or do we continue to propagate what is already out there? And I feel that the propagation of certain stories in the Jay Slater case have just reached an end. There is nowhere else to go with them. There is nothing else to be said until there is more information that comes out, or new information that comes out. I can't help but base where I am in this moment right now on the only things that seem credible, because the vast majority of information on the Jay Slater case doesn't seem credible. The main story doesn't seem credible, but nothing that we've seen is also given us a viable alternative. The stories have just turned into a complete and utter farce. I was attacked yesterday because seemingly Jay Slater was definitely put inside a freezer and transported at a later date. This is why Jay Slater was not found, and the dogs didn't pick up a scent. But lo and behold, we've just seen another story come out where somebody else has now been found. Another body has been found in another ravine in Tenerife, who has seemingly been there for a long period of time, based on the severity of decomposition of the body. So it proves that bodies can be out there and go unnoticed. It is stated by authorities out there that people are not understanding the terrain out there. They don't know what they're talking about. Unless you've been out there, unless you're seeing it, then you don't understand what you're talking about. And perhaps I have been a victim to that, where I don't know what I'm talking about because I haven't been boots on the ground and looked at it, and how easy it perhaps is to take a wrong turn, make a false step. But look, I mean, no disrespect to people, but when people are coming and they're attacking me for concluding where I've concluded and throwing their sort of toys out the pram because I haven't fallen on the same side of the fence as them, that's a shame, but stop being a fucking baby about it. We're all adults here, and that's how investigations go. You look at everything, you pull it apart, you go over things, you go over them again if you have to, but eventually you have to conclude. And if you don't conclude, you just keep on the carousel and you just keep recycling and again propagation of the same rumors over and over and over again. But there are people who are out there, they are willing to propagate this stuff, they are willing to go over it, they're willing to give you guys who are interested in that a place to go. But don't mistake channels that will propagate this stuff, that they are doing reactivity content, not investigative journalism. Don't mistake the two, because they are very, very different. Because at the moment, the main hitters in this case that people are taking a huge lot of notice of, one of them has been caught in the past for fabrication of content for clicks and views. And another one is someone that I emailed to warn about it and physically show them that there was falsities being propagated, and that content creator came back to me and stated that they didn't care what they were covering. They didn't care if it was real or fake. And I get it, because that's the channel they are. That's not their fault. That's what they do, and they do that extremely well. The downside is is people are falling for that. They are feeling that this is not what it is. They're not understanding that this is reactivity to the information that is out there, and it isn't about pushing what is right and what is not right. It's just about reacting to what is out there. But people are taking these stories and they are running with them like they are facts, that this person is showing them proof that something nefarious has happened, and they don't understand that that's not what's happening here. This is someone reacting to someone else showing some information that could prove, or in their head they feel proves, something else has happened. And I've been down every rabbit hole there is in the Jay Slater case, and it got me nowhere. It led me to nowhere. Maybe it will be solved. Maybe it won't. If new stuff comes out, I will talk about it. If there isn't anything new, I won't. But let's think about Jack as well. Jack O Sullivan is still missing. He hasn't been found. His family want answers. The police have been called out on their inactivity, and it does seem that they are now starting to do things again. But is there going to be any conclusion in this? Is there anything nefarious in this case? He went to a party, seemingly got into an altercation. The people at the party said that fizzled out, but he's missing, and he weren't seen since. I'll catch you all in the next one.